Yeah, welcome back to the Ladies Hive with T and everyone. Welcome. It's so good to be here again. And today, we are talking making the paper. We're talking about our finances and money, basically. Yeah. Sit back and relax because it's going to be a very insightful, interesting, and informative episode. Who's ready? I am because I'm ready to make some money. Okay, join me in welcoming my guest, Rebecca Ase.
Uh,
I
Thank
hope I
you.
got your surname correct.
You did, and I'm quite surprised.
Yes. I'm glad that I did. Okay, so before we dive in, a little bit about our guest for today. So Rebecca Ase is a blockchain and cryptocurrency content and information marketer. She's the board member of the Black Women in Blockchain Council. And head of communications at Future Proof Intelligence with a talent for simplifying complex concepts. She teaches about cryptocurrencies to educate a wider audience. Rebecca has written for notable crypto publications and is dedicated to promoting diversity and inclusion in the industry. A warm welcome to you, Rebecca. Ooh, that's quite the portfolio.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tian.
It's so glad. I'm so glad to have you join us. So let's just dive right in here. So we are talking about millennial women and their money. So let's start with investing and knowing what to invest in, knowing what to dabble into or what to be a part of. So yes, let's start with that. Investing wisely.
Okay. Before we talk about investment, I think it's important to talk about saving. Because if you don't have funds, you actually can't invest. And you're actually supposed to invest when you have spare. Someone who is really trying to survive really doesn't care about investing because all they just want to do is survive. So investment comes from a place of, I can now thrive, so I can now invest. So when it comes to investment, you have to first of all save, then you have to have something to invest. So I think it's really important that we first of all build a saving culture, and it's something that I think is kind of dwindling in our world or in our generation today. For most of us growing up, must have seen our parents save. It's either they had this uh, um, piggy box, which was not really a piggy box because it was a wooden, makeshift box, or they do something they call thrift saving, where they or cooperative. Yes, that's what they used to call it, cooperative, where a group of people come together, they pull their resources together, and then the funds go to various people. So it's actually important that we cultivate an habit of saving. So once you have been able to save, then you can now talk about investing. Once you have been able to beat down the fact that, okay, when I invest, I wouldn't lose my money, then you can now start investing. So first things first is you invest what you can afford to lose. I know it doesn't sound like something we should be saying, but because I come from a crypto background, that's what I've been doing most of my time. I invest in crypto. The first rule of investing in crypto is invest what you can afford to lose. Now, it doesn't matter how safe, we put that in quotes, an investment is, there's always a certain risk attached to it. It might be overt, it might be covert, but there's always a risk attached to all forms of investment. So you have to, invest what you can afford to lose. Then after, having a form of amount that, okay, yes, if they take this, my 300 million, I won't die, then you cannot go ahead to asking yourself, what can I invest in? Now, for people who are newbies in investing, I always like to advise them to invest in, things that are stable. And one of my all-time favorites is gold. I like to tell them invest in gold, or if you want to dive into cryptocurrency, invest in USDT, which is a stable coin. So we'll talk about that later. But first and foremost, you have to invest in something that is stable. Gold is stable. And another reason why I love to tell people to invest in gold is because gold is or was the standard. And even if, yes, technically gold really isn't the standard, of measuring the value of money anymore, because the world generally relies on using the dollar as the standard of measurement. Gold still is the standard. It still has, a little bit of undertone. If you watch Money Heist and all the other movies, you always see that, they always want to go for the gold. So there is a bit of value in gold, and gold is largely stable. So, but then gold also, it appreciates in value. It appreciates and then it depreciates in value, but it's still a better form of investment than, one, you get to see, a physical representation of your money depending on the platform that you invest with. You get to see a physical representation of your money. So it's not like as if, okay, I invested in stock or I invested in something and I'm not getting my money back. You can see your money, it's with you. You can decide to turn your gold into jewelries for your kids or whatever it is that you want. So that is why I always tell newbies to go for gold. Then why I would say USDT is because USDT is stable. Now, the currency that depreciates in value is the Naira. For instance, in 2020, Naira was 360. The Naira was valued at 360 Naira per dollar. Now, imagine if in 2020 I had, let's say, 200,000 Naira that, maybe I wasn't doing anything with it, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do with this money? And I bought USDT of 200,000 Naira. And then I keep that USDT. Naira, in the black market is currently worth about 760 Naira to a dollar, or minimum of 730 on a bad day. So imagine the increase from 360 Naira to 730 Naira. That's, a whole lot. So yeah, so it's a whole lot. So you get to make your profit, and you really didn't lose anything except for the fact that you really were patriotic. You're supposed to be patriotic and believe the best about your country's currency. So that's the only place where there's a bit of a problem. But aside that, you get to have value. So I always tell newbies, rule number 1, save. Rule number 2, invest what you can afford to lose. Rule number 3, invest in things that are stable. Rule number 4, do not be greedy. Avoid greed. Whenever I teach, my students who want to learn about cryptocurrency, it's something I always preach. Do not be greedy. Personally, I am not greedy. And despite the fact that I'm not a very greedy person, I have lost amounts of money that my mother must never find out that I have. I have lost this money to cryptocurrency just because, I wanted to make a quick buck, and I just feel, okay, let me just put this here and there. Because if my mother finds out that I lost that kind of money, she will never allow me, leave alone. She's going to, something is definitely wrong with me. Why would I lose that kind of money?
Trust Nigerian mothers.
Exactly. I know Nigerian mothers, they prefer physical things, which is why, like I like to say, that something is old does not mean that it doesn't work. So yeah, the older we get, we don't have to throw the values of our parents away. So, you pick what worked for them, amplify it, and make it work for you. So yeah, so you have to avoid greed. When you are greedy, you make the wrong choices. Now, over the years, let's start from 2016, from MMM. MMM, there was Ultimate Cycler, there was so many of them, so many. But I did make, some profits from MMM. But then I actually made profit just once, because I was like, it didn't make any sense. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. So I felt guilty about it, so I didn't participate. But then I decided to invest in Ultimate Cycler with a friend, and then I got duped, and my friend refused to return my money, and it caused a huge, rift in our relationship. But one of the things I learned in that situation is, you're not a thief. You cannot invest 50 naira and want to get 200 naira. No, that makes sense. Invest 50 naira and want to get 2,000 naira. Brother, calm down, calm down. You have to be patient. Now, traditionally, when you look at how profit is being made, profit really, I think for a lot of us, especially those of us that come from, cryptocurrency background, the fact that cryptocurrency gives you this huge profit as kind of I don't really know the right term to use, but I think the right way to say it would be spoiled us. Yeah, it has spoiled this mentality of being patient where finances is concerned. So you cannot put in 1 naira and then you want to make 5 million in 2 days. No. That's not how finances work. Finance grows, it grows. So when you are always looking, you are greedy, you want to reap where you did not sow, you are looking for ways to make huge amount of money, you tend to lose what you have. So you have to understand, how money works. You have to understand how money works. Money works by compounding. You compound your money. That's how money works. That's how to grow wealth. You grow wealth by compounding. I put in 1 naira, my 1 naira gets 2 naira. I put in my 2 naira, my 2 naira gets 4 naira. I put in the 4 naira, my 4 naira gets 8 naira. Just like that. Just keep recycling and recycling and recycling. But if you are looking for, I heard that so and so made so and so, and you just take your money and then you drop it there without understanding how it works, you might end up losing your money. So don't be in a hurry to make quick buck. So kill that spirit of greed. Kill it. If you can overcome greed, you have succeeded in overcoming a lot of things. And yes, of course, you are going to hear so many people tell you the fact that, you have to take risks, you have to be a risk taker. But men and brethren, if you take some kind of risk, when you cry, see, the only place for me when I lost, during my time of investing and trying to make quick buck, when I lost my money, I usually go to the presence of God to go and cry. I cannot tell anybody what happened to me. I'll just go to church and I'll be crying when they're singing, you are good, I'm crying. Now you think it's the Holy Spirit. No, I lost my money and I cannot cry to anybody except God that made me and God that warned me when I was trying to do it, and I'm like, this isn't a good idea, but I still went ahead. So now, of course, like I like to say, my experience is not law. Yeah, it's just my experience. Other people, you can't be luckier when investing, but I still like to say, do not be greedy. It helps you. Greed is something, even in the psychology of money, you have to put greed under. I'll use most of the movies of robbery to explain that. It's not a good analogy, but we can learn a lesson from everything. When you watch robbery movies, especially professional robbers, when they go to rob, they pick as much as they can carry.
Yes.
Because you have to understand that when you are running away from the police, you have to know that if you are carrying way too much, it slows you down. Just as much as you can run away with, and then you wouldn't be seen. That's one. Two, when they finish robbing, they always stay undercover first. So you also have to learn that, which is where it gets to the next point. When you now start investing and you start making profit, you have to delay gratification. Yes, delayed gratification. If you don't have delayed gratification, you are just going to be investing, and that's where compounding interest comes in, like I mentioned initially. So you have to delay your gratification and compound your interest. Now, when you don't delay your gratification, you end up making profit, and then you're spending your profit. And when you start, because you have to maintain the lifestyle. So when you start spending your capital back, you would not understand. So what I would like to advise young women is delay gratification. When you invest, let's say you invest, another form of investment that I also love is stocks. Invest in stocks. For instance, like a few weeks back, a friend of mine that invested in some Amazon stock, his portfolio grew, invested $1,000, and in a week, he got $200 as profit. Now, he had invested his $1,000 for a while. So it was not like as if he got the $200, like invested today, and then Amazon stock grew up. Now, that is where studying the market comes into play. You have to understand the market, so you know what you're investing in. You know that, okay, yes, for instance, if you're in the crypto world, you understand that Elon Musk makes crazy announcements, and every time Elon Musk makes an announcement, whatever it is that Elon Musk is talking about, the price will, increase.
Yeah.
That is fundamental analysis. So what you do is, you have already studied Elon Musk and his pattern, and then the pattern of the coins that he's buying. So when you have the patterns of the projects that he's talking about, so when you carry your money, your $500 or your $200, and then you're like, okay, yesterday to this morning, Elon Musk said Dogecoins are blah 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 blah, and then you buy Dogecoin. You are waiting for Dogecoin to increase in value. So let's say Dogecoin increase, and then your $200 becomes $500. You are not supposed to remove your $300 and go and start spending it on something. No. You are supposed to put that $500 after you have sold and gotten your profit back, because of course you have to understand that the market is also going to dump. Because as Elon Musk has said something about Dogecoin, and Dogecoin has pumped, the market will also dump. Yeah. So when you buy, you set your target for selling, which is your exit strategy. You always have to have an exit strategy. You cannot just invest in a coin and leave it there like that. No, you cannot invest even in gold. You cannot just buy gold and leave the gold here. No, because the market is not your friend. They don't care about you. It's not sentimental. It doesn't care about your emotions. So if you buy gold today, and then Russia and let's say in Afghanistan now, they had the issue, you can't travel with your gold. Your gold is basically useless. You have to drop your gold behind when you are traveling. So you always have to know the right time to sell to make your profit. So let's say you sell and then you make your profit. You are not supposed to sell the profits that you get on it. Delay your gratification, compound your interest, invest in something else. So one of the things I usually do is this. When I invest in anything and I get my profits, I remove my capital and then I invest my profits. So usually this is what I do. If let's say I'm using $200 in an investment, and then I invest and my $200 get $10, I'll use the $210, I'll invest again, and then invest again, and then invest again. But there's also something I learned from my cousin. So my cousin told me something that, what his dad does is that when his dad invests, and then his dad gets profits, although his dad does traditional investment, traditional businesses. He said his dad does not take the profit and then reinvest it back into the business. So his dad takes his profit out and uses it to buy land. He said, so because of, traditional businesses, people are always constantly coming to borrow money, delay gratification, where people don't know your value. So people are constantly coming to borrow money from him. So rather than borrow people the money, and then when it comes to time to collect the money back, it becomes a problem, he takes his profit and then he buys land. Now, the value of land will always appreciate. He can build a house on that land, rent it out to people. So now he has multiple sources of income. He has compounded his interest. You understand? So compounding always works. So you don't just invest when you get your profit back, you just gather everything and then you start. No. It's a bad habit. I think it's something we need to learn in our generation. You delay gratification. One of the things I like to teach people when I talk about money is have a goal. One, what is money to you? Once you can define what is money to me, money is a tool. Money is a tool. I use money to get what I want. Money is a tool for empowerment. Money is a tool for freedom. So money is a tool. That's how I see money. Money does not control me. I control money. So then that's one. I already know what money is. Secondly, what can I do for money and what can I not do for money? Once you settle that with yourself, how far can I go for money? Then once you settle that, that's the third one. The fourth one will now be, what can I use money for? So you have to tell yourself, okay, these are the things I can do with money. So once you have settled all that, then it means that you have put yourself mentally on a level plane for what money is and how to control money. That way it helps you, when you get money, you don't have to be under any pressure, to impress anybody with your money, to do things you're not supposed to do with the profits you are getting. No. So always remember, once you make profits, let's say you get a high-paying job at a remote job, and then they are paying you well, you always have to think 50 years ahead. Okay, no, 50 years is too far. Let's say 10 years ahead. Okay, 10 years from now, I'm going to be, let's say, if you're talking about millennials, you're going to be 40, 40, 42, 45. So you want to say, okay, by the time I'm 45, what am I going to be doing with money? So you're 45 and you are a woman, you have kids that will be like 10, 8, 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
You want your kids to have the best of life. So how much have you saved ahead for those kids? So that will help you in investing and in your investment choices. It'll also help you in your spending choices. So I think I have answered the question.
All right, thank you so much. That was brilliant. I want to get your thoughts on stocks. You mentioned, stocks a couple of times when you're making reference, but what do you think about investing in stocks in these times?
Okay. So when it comes to stock, one of the things I like to tell people is you have to, one, understand the market, and two, understand platforms that you are supposed to use to invest. Now, no investment is without risk. Now, I particularly don't do Nigerian uh, brands, and I'm sorry, I'm not that patriotic. So, but then there are some Nigerian brands that have done really, really well. For instance, MTN. MTN started selling their stock, I think last year. They sold a stock, and some people bought, some of my friends I know bought, and I started regretting because I was like, this was right in front of my nose. I would have just bought. This is another thing you have to understand about money. You don't have to regret when you don't make a decision. Regret just makes you start wallowing in self-pity. Just, okay, pick your lesson, move on to the next one. What you should do is, if you are sure that as a woman you want to start investing in stock, you have to first and foremost take your book and your Bible and start writing and understanding the market. Where can I go to buy this stock? Bamboo is one of the best places to get some stocks to invest in. Another platform is why saving is also good, is using platforms like Piggyvest and Cowrywise. Mostly I just use them to save. You have to have them, so you use those platforms also to invest. So you have to understand the market, understand why MTN stock is good to buy. Don't buy anything just because people said so. Now, sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. And I'm talking from experience because I've lost a lot of money. I lost a huge amount of money at some point because I invested, because someone, now this is a very popular person, very good at analysis and all that. I was very busy. I was in a meeting, in a camp meeting, and I just couldn't leave to do what I was supposed to do, that I study the market. So I would suggest using Bamboo HR, but particularly for me, there's platforms that I would advise women who want to invest in gold to go for. Shanu. So just if you are Yoruba, it will be easy to spell. Just think of Mercy, Shanu, SAANU. So they give you physical representations of gold, so you can invest in that. Then if you want to invest in stock, Bamboo is a very good platform. Then you can also use your saving platform, Piggyvest and Cowrywise. Although those ones, they don't really have stocks like that, but you can still use them to invest. But for Bamboo, I'm sure about Bamboo because I use that one and I have people who use that. Now, this is not an investment advice, not a financial advice, but there are platforms that you can use. You have to understand how they work and then you can use them.
While we're talking about, platforms to use, you mentioned Piggyvest and Cowrywise, at least for savings, right? And, my mind flashed back to a conversation I was having with someone during the week, and we're talking about saving and all of that. In your opinion and, experience generally, how much of one's income would you advise to save regularly, at least monthly?
Okay, so I save in a very funny way. Now, that's the way I save, right? When I get my salary, first thing I do is I take out, my money for my tithe and offering. I send money to my mom. I send money to my siblings. I put out money for fuel, data, and food. Now, I buy food in bulk. So because I buy food in bulk, it means that I don't get to cook and to spend money every month on food, because how many do I eat? So that's then another thing I do is this is how I spend. If I'm buying food stuff this month, then next month I'm not buying any food stuff. So if I'm buying toiletries this month, next month I'm not buying it. So if anything I'm buying, I'm ensuring it lasts me 2 to 3 months. So for the next 2 months, I'm saving. So once I take out those money, the rest, I'm saving everything. I am not taking out money for no survival funds. I'm saving it. So if I finish up maybe my emergency funds, that whatever amount it is, if I maybe spend it on miscellaneous and I finish it up, well, men and brethren, I'm going to be very, very broke for that month. So, so that's how I save. I don't save, 20% or 10%. No, because I know, putting a particular percentage means I'm going to be saving lesser than I actually want to.
Yeah.
So I don't put any percentage on it. I just take out my funds that I know for essentials and then I save the rest. So that is how I save. Now, another thing I do is that I have about 4 or 5 accounts, bank accounts, for different purposes. So if my GT account is my main outflow account, if there is no money in my GT account, I will have money maybe in other accounts. Now, if I tell you I don't have money, it means I don't have money in my GT account. Now, there are money in other bank accounts. So for me to save on PiggyVest and Cowrywise, I send money to my UBA account, and then from my UBA account, PiggyVest and Cowrywise takes whatever it is that they want from that account. Then my OPay, I use OPay to save for any church-related events. Maybe I'm going for camp meeting or whatever it is. OPay is my emergency fund. So what that does is that it looks like I always have money. Now, I don't. But because I kind of have money for every situation, it makes it look like, oh, you always have money. I'll give you. So when it's camp time, because I don't like to inconvenience myself, I like to have, I don't like leaving my house. So it means that I have to think ahead. I have to start from the beginning of the year thinking about, okay, by December, I am going to be going for a church camp event and I want to be as comfortable as possible. So I start saving in January. So in December, when you see me taking boats from one place to the other and I'm not asking the driver, why is the price this exorbitant? It's because I started saving at the beginning of the year. You understand? So I have a certain amount that OPay takes every day. So usually what I try to do is I try to avoid putting that, the threshold of that amount into my OPay account, because if that money gets into OPay and I did not take it out before evening, it's automatically going to go into savings. And because I like to think of myself as a miser by nature, I don't want anything to touch my savings. I like knowing that I have money somewhere. So
yeah, it's a good feeling.
So it helps. So that way you are able to constantly have funds to help yourself, especially as a woman. There's something they call vex money that they always tell women, have vex money.
Yeah.
Go out with people. You need to have vex money. Someone takes you out on a date and then they're talking trashy to you. You won't just sit down there looking at the person. No, you have money somewhere to tell yourself, you know what, I can't take this trash, I'm leaving. Even if the person takes you out of the country, you'll be like, what nonsense, I'm paying my flights back to Nigeria and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
You understand? Because you know that you can, afford it. So it helps. Have an account for everything. It's one of the reasons why I love, these mini banks like OPay, Kuda, and the rest. I have all of them. What I do is, I think with the exception of Kuda, because something is wrong with my BVN, so I couldn't open a Kuda account. But with the exception of Kuda, I have all these accounts. So they are for something. There's an account for data. I know where I'm going to take money from data. There's an account for, getting fuel. I know that at the end of the month, I have to set aside this amount for getting fuel. There's an account for transportation. I know that, wherever I'm going to, this is the money for it. And once you have that mindset of, I do not borrow, I don't borrow from people. Once you have that mindset, you kind of condition your mind to know that, okay, it's conditioning. This account is for this. This is my major account. So I don't have money. And, it will be, you will condition yourself up to the point that you really will think you don't have money. And then the money you have in the other accounts will beat, it works. It works for me. It has saved time and time again. Even at times when, I didn't have any income coming in, I was able to stay afloat. Why? Because, I had savings. in different spots to keep me floating. So like I always say, saving is important. It's a culture that I started cultivating from when I was a kid, and it is something I will always encourage women to do. Save. Always think of situations 10 steps ahead. It will help you think of certain situations. Imagine a problem when there is none. Now, it's not to keep you in a constant state of fear, but it's to keep you prepared, keep you mentally prepared. So when it happens, we like to say that women have intuition. That's like a foresight to see things before they happen. It's a gift that women have. So use your gifts. Use your gifts to your own benefit. So save. It will help. Then when you save, don't invest all your savings at once. No, you are not Robert Kiyosaki. Yes, no, you are not Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah, don't invest all your savings at once. So for people who are going to be investing in things like crypto or investment, this is what I like to tell them. Or people who earn in dollars. I'm like, yes, I know you earn in dollars, but you spend in naira. So you earn in dollars and you spend in naira. Two things. It's either you look for a source of income that is a naira-based source of income. So you save your dollars, you invest, you spend in naira. So that way to also help you cut spending. So let's say you are a consultant, and then every month you earn 30,000 naira from your naira-based business, while from your dollar-based business you are earning $1,500 or $3,000 in a month. You save your $3,000, you spend your 30,000 naira. It's doable. It's doable, ladies. You can spend 30,000 naira in a month. So yeah, you spend your 30,000. So when you do that, you get to cut down your spending, live within your naira-based income, and then you get to have more saving and more to invest in with your dollar-based income. You understand? So it's something like these are proven methods that work and it will help you. So always have two sources of income. You save one, you spend one, and out of the one you spend out of, have at least a tiny portion, even if it's 2% or 3%. It's like constant drops of water creates an ocean. Constant drops of water on a rock erodes the surface of that rock. So just keep doing it, and then one day you just go to that savings and you're like, oh my God, I have this amount of money, and guess who's going to be having a fantastic birthday?
Yeah, I mean, because when you were saying you have multiple accounts, right, for different purposes, I was just smiling because I really thought that when I started doing that, I just realized that, okay, I have these accounts that money doesn't flow in and out of. What am I using it for? So what I decided to do was what you do now. So I just segmented it. Mm-hmm. I have an account for transportation and something. I have one where I take out my money for groceries. I have another one where I take out money for entertainment, gifting, my wants or needs for the month. Once I've exhausted that, that's the end. That's the end. I'm just you know what? Okay, money is finished till next month or two. Whenever I have money, and it has really
your confession will just
helped. It has really, really helped me because I just found that because there was a time in my life where I would receive money, and then it would just be going. At the end of the day, when I sit down to account for what it is that I spent it on, I'm not able to pinpoint that, okay, this is either I'm able to pinpoint, and then there's still some things that are not accounted for, and I'm asking myself, what did I use this money for? It got so bad, I had to do something about it. So I use different accounts for different things. Once there's no money in that account, I know that, okay, till next month. I initially did not used to add gifting before, right? But I realized that friends will do birthdays, or there's one naming ceremony. And the older you get, your friends are getting married. Friends are getting married. There's a shoibi. You have to buy gifts for the couple. Their friends are giving birth. You have cousins, you have nephews, you have nieces, and all of them are doing birthdays and all. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to add this. Once I reach that threshold, that has helped me, live the soft life in quotes and just
Yes.
just segmenting, my income. And once that part is done,
Yes.
I know that okay, I'm out, and wait till next month or wait till another time that I get income. So yeah, ladies,
Yes.
tip for you: if you have multiple accounts, or you can get multiple accounts, nobody will arrest you, right? And try,
Yes.
try this
These
out,
platforms need you to open accounts with them. They are always happy
right?
when they get new
Exactly.
customers.
Yeah, so ladies, you can try this out and give us feedback. Let's know if this works for you. Okay, so let's go into more personal things now. While I was reading your profile, you mentioned the Black women in blockchain. Tell us a little bit about that and how
Okay.
it benefits women.
Okay. So, Black Women in Blockchain Council is an organization that caters to the need of women in blockchain technology. About some kind of technology, not some kind, most technologies, you get to see men at the forefront. You go to a blockchain event, you get to see more men, talking at the event, and one woman there, like, it's like, oh, they told that they don't look sexist. Women who are not just giving room to speak to fit diversity quota, but they're giving room to speak because one, they know what they are saying, they have the right skills, and they are giving value to their community. So that's what Black Women in Blockchain Council is. So we currently have different programs, educating women, giving women there's a program that's teaching women about how to become blockchain developer. Yes, so that's one of the things we are currently running. So it's an organization based in Washington DC, and so but then we cater for all women, Black women, women of color, Black women and women of color. So African women, Black women in America, whatever country they are in, and all women of color. So that's what we do. So how can it benefit our listeners? One, if you're interested in learning about the blockchain technology. Now, the blockchain technology, cryptocurrency is just a part of it. So it's like, let's say, the entire world, and you just living in Lagos, and all you know is Lagos. Now, there is more to the world than Lagos. So that's how I will explain the blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. So what we are to educate women, not just about Lagos, but about the world. So not just about cryptocurrency, but about the world, because there's a lot you can do than just trade cryptocurrency. There's a lot you can do than just buy and sell cryptocurrency. So we are currently raising women, female developers, so you can also be a artist. So you can just check out our website, bwbc.i. Just check us out, and then.
So this conversation is something I like to ask my guests, right? And it's conversations that I have offline as well. I had one conversation around this earlier on in the month, okay, during the International Women's Day, and I want to get your 2 cents on it, since you are someone that has conversations and does things that has to do with inclusion, right? So I want us to talk about equity and or equality, right? Especially in the workspace, especially when it comes to the males and female folk, right? What's your take on that? Equality and or equity? So people still believe that equality is the way to go as opposed to equity. So yeah, your 2 cents on that.
So it's a bit dicey. If we're talking about the workspace, then we're looking at it from a different. But if we're talking about it in general, we are not equal. One reason why I actually toned down on my gender, on my feminist movement, I think I'll say that, was, 2018, I became friends with a guy that was blind. And, I discovered something. It's easy to talk about equality when we are talking about genders. When we talk about equalities when we are talking about able and disabled people. So that kind of made me see the world from a different, because I can't say I'm equal to him because we aren't. At least, I had to be his eyes at a particular event, telling him what's happening, and whenever I talk to him, I voice notes to him, because, of course, he's not like, he's not totally blind, but he can see, he just has this peripheral vision, just, tiny vision that he can only see maybe during the day. At night is very difficult. So that kind of helped me to understand that equality is an illusion we can aim to get. So we can always aim for equity. Now, in the workspace, equality is and equity are two different things. Now, if you are going to be talking about equity, you are going to be talking about equity in terms of being empathetic towards, a person's peculiarity. But if you're talking about equality in pay, it has to be based on your contribution, which is why when I was talking about women in blockchain council, I am more interested in women have the right skills at these places. I don't want to be diversity just simply because I am Black. No, I want to be hired because I am capable. Because that of all the candidates that you met that day, you looked at Rebecca and you said, oh, Rebecca can get the job done. I do not want to be hired because, oh, she's Black, we need a woman on our team just so that we can look like we're inclusive. No. If I find out I was hired that way, it depends on the money. But I think I might get the job. But, I want to be hired because of my ability. You understand? So when it comes to workplace, it's totally different. Now, we also have to take into consideration the peculiarities of women. That's where equity comes into play. Now, that's into consideration that depending on the, which is why I said we are not equal, because some women don't have painful monthly cramps, and some women do. Now, if I, as a woman, I don't have extra cramps, and my monthly flow is just easy for me. But having seen me that every month she has to take 2 or 3 days off so she could rest, or she could take care of herself. I have to be considerate and just give her that time of the month. It's a bit dicey. So now, but what I like to say when it comes to the workplace is employ people based on their capabilities. Then the company has to be more empathetic towards understanding the peculiarities of people. So it's neither equality or equity, it's just in between. It's not a two-way thing, it's just in between. I think the word we can just use is just empathetic. Be human.
I like your response, because I also feel like that sometimes, that these things can work hand in hand. Of course, people would like to be treated, yes, based on their strengths and weaknesses, and be acknowledged as well. So yes, that's an interesting response. Okay, so we are gradually winding down now. Actually, we'll be done soon. Just to recap, some of the things that I've learned. Save, always save, and try to invest, and do not be greedy. That's one point that you reiterated a couple of times. So do not be greedy. Also, okay, yeah, you said research. Always research whatever it is that you're investing in, whatever platforms that you want to invest in. Always research. And you mentioned platforms like Bamboo to use as investment, but even at that, still do your research on whatever companies you want to buy stocks from and the rest. And the tip that myself and Rebecca shared, we've said that you can use multiple accounts, split your income into the things that you daily spend on or weekly spend on, groceries, utility bills, light, water, what else? And then your wants, gifts to people, entertainment, transportation, all of those things. Split them into different accounts and just ensure that you don't spend everything on one thing, and then when it's time to go somewhere, and then not scratching your head and looking for funds for maybe a car, or to buy fuel in your car, right? So yeah, that's the recap of all the things, some of the things that we've learned. Okay, we're down to the words of wisdom segment of the show. So to wrap this up, your final words as regards saving and investing for the millennial woman.
Okay. Like I said before, money is a tool. Money is a tool. So you have to treat money as a tool for your growth, for your empowerment, and don't just allow money control your life. Don't allow the need to say the need to be to have control your life. Money is just a tool. So use it as a tool. That's it.
Awesome. Money is a tool, so use it to get what you want. Quickly before we go, Rebecca, do you organize trainings? And if you do, when is your next one coming up in case members from my community want to be a part of this training?
Yes, I do. I do organize training, although I don't have a date for the next one yet because I'm working on a course to teach people about cryptocurrency. Actually, the course is almost ready. It's just I need the right platform to put it on. So I'll get back to you on that.
All right, awesome. I hope that members of the Ladies Hive will get discounts when it's time.
Of course, most of my trainings are usually free.
Oh, yeah. All right. Please keep me posted so that I can share with my community when it's time for the training and also when the book comes out. Okay, ladies, we've come to the end of this conversation. I told you it was going to be an interesting, informative, and educative one, right? Yes, me, I've learned a lot. Though I'll still be in Rebecca's DMs to start up my investments. Yes, we need to make this money this year, right? Alrighty, so please follow my guest Rebecca on social media platforms. Rebecca, please provide your social media handles.
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Just at Rebecca Ase.
Okay.
Ase is spelled SSEH.
Yeah. All right, ladies, you heard. Please follow our guest across all of these platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn at Rebecca Ase. And of course, you know what to do. If you're not following us already, why? Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Ladies Hive. And of course, if you want to know what I get to do in my personal time and space, please do follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TEE_twirl. My name is Tian, and I will see you in the next episode. Adios. Bye.